Hi, welcome to Street Priest Ministries. I'm your host, Brother Jay, as we're taking the Gospels back to the streets. Today's drive-through message is the Tower of Babel. So turn your Bibles to Luke 17, 26, 29. We're in the last days, and the Tower of Babel was a very important part of Scripture and history. And the verse in the Bible was so short on it, you would think it was just a blip on the screen. But yet, out of the Tower of Babel, Nimrod spawned the counterfeit, satanic, occult religion, the fake Trinity, the Sun God Trinity, that has contaminated and polluted the minds of men and their relationship to the true Creator God. Of course, Satan being the author of confusion himself throughout history. That's why the Tower of Babel was very important. Let's read this, what Jesus had to say first. So we're in the last days, we're in the end times. And as it is in the days, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the Son of Man. They did eat, they did drink, they married wives, they were given unto marriage until the day of Noah entered into the ark, and the flood came and destroyed them all. Likewise also it was in the days of Lot, that they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they builded. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. Okay, so it's very important, and I'm more focused on the days of Noah, because the days of Noah was a very highly technological society. They had technology that we still don't have, and just now catching up with some of it. And it was fallen angel technology. And you read in Genesis, we're going to read there in a minute, about the fallen angels coming down to mate with the women who gave up their estate, the 200 watchers. But along with that, they polluted mankind with their fallen angel technology. And God had to wipe the earth out through water, the flood. That's what the flood was about. The earth had become polluted with this fallen angel technology. And their hybrids that they've created, half man, half angel, the bastards that they're called. Now I taught on all that in the book of Enoch. I read the whole book of Enoch. And I'm not going to cover that. Right now I'm focused on the Tower of Babel. But if you want an in-depth teaching on the fallen angels and all that, I taught on the whole book of Enoch. It's a series. I also taught on books that was in the Bible that was originally taken out of the Bible. And we're going to cover one book, the book of Jasher, in a minute. We're going to read about Nimrod, because he's a very important figure in the scripture. And those lost books fill in like a puzzle, the pieces that are missing in the Bible. The Bible's brief, very brief. Like I said, Nimrod's like a blip on the screen in the Bible. There's not much said about him, yet this man affected history in the worst way that any man, or any tyrant, he was a tyrant actually, the first Antichrist tyrant, / that ever lived. Now, technology is on the march again, fallen angel technology. They're doing the same thing. The Bible says they're doing it, son. Now we just read what Jesus said, the days of Noah. Noah was a highly technological society, very advanced. They had anti-gravitic devices. We call them spaceships. These are trans-dimensional beings. And we live coexisting with other dimensions. And our naked eyes cannot see them. Only when God allows it to be done, and then some freak occurrences happen in nature where you get to see portals or other beings. But we're all intertwined here. And these fallen angels had taught men. And that's what the Tower of Babel we're going to read about is about. Basically, you have evil men and women that's doing the same thing right now, trying to open these portals and have, free up some of these supernatural beings that God has in prison. Fallen angels, demons. And like I said, the Bible said there's nothing new under the sun. You had pictures on caves around the world with flying machines. You have records of weapons of warfare that exploded like the many suns in the ancient pantheons of the writings of India, tumults, the tablets in ancient Samaria, Egypt, around the world. They record two things: fallen angels and their technology that they gave to man, which is a deception. And it's coming around again. These same fallen angels are going to hoodwink men in the last days again. Star childs, brothers from another system, we come in peace. We are your creators. We seeded you here on earth. It's lies. That's what Jesus said, the days of Noah. The Atlantean civilization was very advanced. Like I said, it's more advanced than we are today. And God destroyed it in the flood. It's part of it. Man started over. Went back to being an agrarian society. But yet, myths, fables, legends of the technology we had, just like now, if the earth was to be destroyed, we started over. Going right back to tilling the land, agrarian society, farming, what little records might be kept of what we had would be passed on as myths. Us flying to the moon and so on and so on. Be myths. Airplanes, all that. Computers. We just 1 foot on a banana peel and 1 foot away from a catastrophe could wipe us out and to have it start over. A lot of people would not know what to do without their social media, cell phones, so on and so on. Everything's a push of the button. Most people, if you drop them in the mountains, the desert, or anywhere, they couldn't survive. They wouldn't know how to plant anything, how to even eat off the land, how to find water, much less how to purify it if it's contaminated. They have no clue. They have no survival skill. Some never caught a fish out of a lake, never hunted, never killed anything with their hands. And ate, cooked it and ate it in the wild. No clue how to survive. Now this technological age that we're in, and this fallen angel technology that's going to be given to man, it's like a worm on a hook. That's exactly what it is. Now, let's go. Well, I'm going to show you one thing before I go. I wanted to do that. I just said how they have things that can be duplicated right now. I mean, the Great Pyramid of Giza is for one. These are ancient monuments, ancient monoliths are cut in stone. They, with such precision, modern Optical instruments couldn't do a better job. Flawless. They had glazing of stone. Only the nuclear heat could you glaze certain stone, especially dealing with granite and other types of stone of that nature. It would take a nuclear blowtorch to glaze on that level. We can't duplicate. We can't figure out how they move giant stone carved images with precision, 30 tons, 80 tons, 100 tons. How did they move? It don't seem even possible with a crane. Fallen angel technology. Now I'm going to show you one thing from a book of mine, just one picture, to show you the precision. We couldn't even duplicate certain monuments, things that are made. We mark, we're scratching our head. How did they do? How did the ancients do that? And I'm telling you, fallen angel technology. Here's one picture from a book of mine. Put this to the, we're old school with it. Put this to the camera. There's no way we could duplicate that today. Absolutely no way. That can't be duplicated. Washington Monument, as close as we get. Now that's just one. We can go around the world. And that's one of my favorite pet peeves is archaeology, paleontology. I study that for fun. And it's still a marvel to man. How do we move these stones? How do Stonehenge? You could go on and on. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Famous monuments. Valley of the Kings, like I just showed you. Monuments in Egypt. Around the world, Incas. All around the world. Pyramid structures. Huge, some undersea. Off the coast. The Bimini, Japan. You can go on and on. It can't even be duplicated. Some of these monuments you can see from outer space. They're aligned with the true north. You can go on and on. Lined with stars, certain stars. Lined right up. Some of the ancients had the courses of the stars, like the Dogon tribe in Africa, mapped out. Sirius A, B, and C. That wasn't even discovered until the 1800s. But they had everything mapped out in their culture for thousands of years. Like I said, fallen angels gave man this technology. And as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming Son of Man. We're right now where man is in the transhumanism. He's experimenting. Splicing genes, creating monsters and freaks. It's like they were doing in that day. As technology becomes more and more advanced. And fallen angel technology is used, just like I said, like a worm on a hook. It's to man's detriment. They're not here to help you. I'm a Twilight Zone buff. I remember the old Twilight Zone. See if you get it. It's hard to even get to Twilight, but they had a lot of New Age truth in the Twilight Zone. What it was called the Serve Man, where the aliens came down and they had a big book, and come to find out, make a long story short, it was a cookbook. They was taking man on the spaceships away there, and then, they told him we were taking you to a better place. But it was all a trick. All the technology they gave man, they see man as food. But there's a lot of truth in that Twilight Zone, in that Twilight Zone series, that particular series. They see man as food. Demons, fallen angels, we are food. We're cattle to them. They hate your guts. Satan hates your guts. They're only here to deceive and destroy. That's what Jesus said. What the enemy, Satan, and his minions do. Steal, kill, and destroy. Now, let's go to Genesis. And they're going to, his whole objective is to get you into hell with him. Go the crook and deprive you of eternal joy. He wants you, misery loves company. Satan and his crew. Now, let's see, I thought I marked it, but double check. I hope I did. Save us some time. We're going to read a little bit about Nimrod in the Bible. No, I didn't mark it, so let me find it real quick. Like I said, Nimrod was a very, very important figure in the scripture. He changed the whole course of mankind, and probably, if any single figure, him and his wife, evil wife Samaritans, they were the wicked witch, was responsible for taking more people. Well, as far as mankind is concerned, to hell, it was definitely those two. With the false god and the false idol worship. It was definitely them too. Now, okay, I found it. It's Genesis 7. Excuse me, I'm sorry, Genesis 10:7. Genesis 10:7. And the sons of Cush, that Hebrew word Cushi means black, Seba and Havila and Sebda and Rama and Sabtakana, and the sons of Rama, Sheba and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. Now Nimrod his very name means he rebelled. It's picture somebody taking a finger and pointed in God's face. That's what his name means. Like, I will not serve you. Defiant. Like Satan, his master. That's what his name means. And Cush begat Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one in the earth. A tyrant. He was the first Antichrist. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. Now that's all it's said there. Now we skip down to verse 11. And then after that we're going to go to an apocryphal book, the book of Joshua, and read a little bit more about Nimrod. And the whole earth was of one language and one speech. That's what's happening now. And thanks to technology, it's much easier. Through computers, voice technology, they got everything now. It's easy in the push of a button to understand what the other person is saying in their language. See, God ain't for unity. That's Satan. Of unity, when I mean one world, one government, one people, one language. That's not God. As you should see, he's defined that in the scripture we're about to read. That's Satan that wants that. He wants to control. That way he can get more. Don't forget, what his main objective is, get you in the hell. You get more in hell. That way, if everybody's one, he's a deceiver. He has no love for mankind whatsoever. Him and his men. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. This is over in Iraq. And they said one to another, that's where Babylon is. Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar. And they said, go, let us build us a city, and a tower, whose top may reach into heaven. Now, you may think in your mind, as you look up at the sky, and say to yourself, that's ridiculous. But you got to realize that they have fallen angel technology helping. And this tower wasn't just like an ordinary tower where they can just walk up into heaven. This was some type of ziggurat, some kind of machine through fallen angel technology they were building to open a portal to go into heaven, just like they're working on now. Yeah, these mad scientists. They're doing the same thing right now. Trying to open a gateway to another dimension. That's what they was up to. They're the same fallen angels still assist them. So it's not as primitive as it sounds in other ways. But they found, matter of fact, archaeologists, paleontologists, all of them have found ancient computers with mechanisms that got them scratching their head to figure out how did they work. It was so complicated. Like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. We're just now catching up with what the ancients already possessed. Now this is shortly after the flood. That these fallen angels have got man going again. Down a downward spiral against God. And he said, go, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach into heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. So it's going to happen again. In Revelations we read when man's going to become one world, one government, one language, one religion, under the guise of peace. The Bible said when they say peace, look out, sudden destruction. And they're going to use this fall in the ancient technology to declare war on God again, just like they did here. And he said, go, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may, this is Genesis 11:4. And they said, go, let us build us a tower and a city whose top may reach into heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Now they declared war on God. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. God probably looked at them like a bunch of crazy ants, trying to ascend into heaven. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language. This is very important. Listen up. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them. With this one language, one unity under Satan and evil, there's no evil that they can't do with unity. There's nothing to be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. The Bible said, the imagination of man's heart is evil. Continue. Go to, let us go down, let us. That's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. The Trinity. Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. God said, let's scramble the language, where we got all the languages. So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off, built the city. Now you know where languages come from. It was all one language. God divided the languages. So man, he didn't want man being unified, come together. He said there's nothing evil, nothing in the imagination of their heart evil that they can't accomplish with this type of unity. Because they're following Satan and his fallen angels. So there's no evil they cannot do as one. Therefore is the name of it called Babel, which means confusion. City of confusion, Babylon. Because of the Lord did there confound their language of all the earth. And from thence did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of the earth. Now you wonder why this pagan religion, Nimrod, Semiramis, Tammuz, the ancient satanic trinity, occult, pagan sun god in all its various forms, and as well as witchcraft from the fallen angels, the dark arts, is similar all around the world because they were one. And God changed their languages. But they took their pagan culture with them. Now it's under their language, under their culture. But it's all the same. If you were to look at all the ancient religions and compare them, it's all the same. All have a record in their language of Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. All of them. All their sorcery is similar. I don't care if it's if you're looking at a shaman in the on an Indian reservation, or if you're looking at an African witch doctor over in Africa, Zimbabwe, anywhere, all the same. Middle Eastern wizard, or European from over in Iran, Druid, all the same. In Ireland, excuse me. Irish Druid, all the same. Around the world. Thanks to Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. The Tower of Babel. That's what the title is. Tower of Confusion. And this confusion is coming back. This whole world now, thanks to Hollywood, pumping out this ancient Babylonian religion, sewer pipe of Hollywood, pumping it out to the world. It's affected the whole world. Thanks to Hollywood. And Satan is using this as a medium for his New Age sorcery. New Age religion, all religions come together. I'll get my teaching in the synagogue of Satan, ancient occult. All of them coming together, but also the technology. That's what I wanted to get at. The technology is coming together. Now let's go to the book of. We're going to go to the book of Jasher. Done with the Bible. And this book was originally, like I said, get my teaching on the book of Enoch, where I talk about the books that was originally in the Bible, and this was one of them was taken out. I'm not going to cover that now. But the book of Jasher is quoted throughout the Bible, lines up perfect with Scripture. And these books are like pieces of the puzzle that fills in the Bible. That was originally in there. It was taken out. All right. So we're going to read about Nimrod in the book of Jasher. It means book of the straight. That's what Jasher means, the straight book. It's not named after a person. All right. So chapter, if you happen to have the book of Jasher, some of you do, chapter 7, verse 14. These are the sons of Ham, according to their families, and their numbers in those days were about 730 men. And these are the sons of Shem. Well, I'm going to skip that. Hold on. I'm going to skip all the lineage thing. I don't have time for it. I've covered the lineage of mankind in one of my series I touched on. Okay, if you haven't had a book, it's chapter 7, verse 28. I want to go straight to. And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, took a wife in those days, in his old age. And she bare a son, and they called his name Nimrod, saying at the time the sons of men again began to rebel and transgress against God. And that's what his name means. He rebelled, Nimrod. Like he pointed his finger and God said, he defied him, I will not serve him. Saying at that time the sons of men, now don't forget, God had prophesied to Adam and Eve after they fall, that the seed of the serpent and the seed of the woman would be at war until Christ was to come and defeat him at the cross, and he did. And now it's just a mop-up operation. But here's the seed of the serpent right here. Now, this is shortly after the flood, after God had wiped billions off the earth. And it started on. And here we go again. That's it. That's what Satan does. He's deceived. And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, took a wife in those days and in his old age. And she bare him a son, and they called his name Nimrod, saying at that time the sons of men again began to rebel and transgress against God. And the child grew up, and his father loved him exceedingly, for he was the son of his old age. And the garments of skin which God had